iPad mini. Make sure to turn off the device by holding the power button at the top and confirming the shutdown on screen. The front glass, which is also the touch-sensitive digitizer, is glued on and requires some heating prior to opening. Using a heat gun or a hairdryer, thoroughly warm up the edges of the front glass. Make sure to be consistent and go around the entire perimeter. Focusing heat on one point for too long may cause further damage to the glass or the LCD underneath. Once properly warmed up, place a suction cup at the top left corner and gently pull away. This will expose the left edge sufficiently enough to get in with a flat metal tool like a putty knife. Continue opening by sliding the putty knife across the top edge. It is advised to use the heat gun to keep the glue soft as you move along the edge with the putty knife. Once some separation is achieved, insert a couple of plastic strips to keep the glass from sticking back in place. A plastic pick is also useful to keep the glass open. Don't use a screwdriver in place of a plastic pick unless your glass is already broken. Once the top edge is separated, insert your fingers at the top and gently leverage the glass open while constantly applying heat for easier separation. Do not separate the glass completely as it is still connected on the bottom. Now it's time to remove the LCD panel. If your digitizer is already broken, it is not necessary to hold it up in place. Remove 4 LCD screws, 1 in each corner, with the final screw being obstructed by some foamy insulation. Then, using the putty knife, gently lift the LCD up from the top, but keep the bottom edge down. There is a metal separator plate, which is secured with 16 tiny screws, 8 on each side. They need to be removed in order to disconnect the LCD and the digitizer. Remove all 8 identical tiny screws on the left side, then 2 more larger screws on the right side, followed by 6 tiny screws. Then, remove the metal separator. Underneath, there will be another metal plate secured by 3 screws. It needs to be removed in order to disconnect the LCD and the digitizer. Gently pick open the LCD connector, then the digitizer's connector underneath. The screen is mounted with some sticky tape. Lay the LCD down and using a pick or a flat screwdriver, gently pry away the tape from the bottom edge of the screen to remove the LCD. There is a control circuit attached to the digitizer's lead that is glued in. Use a pick or a flat screwdriver to separate it. Set the glass digitizer aside. At this point, you can start reassembling the iPad with new parts. Align the new glass digitizer with the bottom edge, guide its lead in position, and reconnect it to the logic board. Take out the new screen and reconnect it to the logic board. Align the screen with the bottom edge and gently set it down to reapply the mounting tape. Reattach the metal plate and secure it with 3 screws. Replace the metal separator and secure the 2 larger screws first, then the rest of the 14 tiny screws all around. Put the LCD back in and secure it with 4 screws, 1 in each corner. Remove the protective film from the digitizer and/or the new LCD panel. Clean up the dust and smudges. Once the surfaces are clean and dust-free, quickly close the digitizer, making sure it is properly aligned. Apply some heat to reactivate the glue. use a paper towel and massage the glass back in place. At this point, you can test the iPad by pressing the power button at the top. If the Apple logo appears and the device responds to your touch, everything is working correctly. Shut down by holding the power button and confirming the shutdown on screen, and you're done. Tools needed for this